an incredible hip hop scene at the time when I first moved to Cardiff. There's always been an amazing live band scene and live music venues, from jazz clubs to club, you know, there's always been a range of music happening. And yeah, I started training to be a music journalist, started working for the BBC, got a job as a researcher, and through my passion for music was doing late night radio from the off locally. I was working in North Wales and I was doing late night radio there for Radio Cymru, and then I got the chance to work for Radio 1. So I worked for Radio 1 for 11 years and was on air, but also did a lot of production, did a lot of documentaries. And so I love everything about music, and my main goal is to be as open-minded as possible to music, to new music. And I always find I naturally want to find out what's happening. So I'm probably just a nosy journalist at the end of the day. So thank you very much to Joff for organising this. We've called it a music clinic. It's the first one. We want to do some more, and hopefully I'll get to know you guys as we kind of try these things out. And thanks to everyone who's been working on it as well. The idea being that there's nothing better than kind of getting a little bit of feedback, and it's quite hard these days to do that. And you send your music into radio stations and stuff, and you might never hear anything back. So maybe I'll be able to give you a little bit of insight into why that happens. And it isn't always about the track, and it isn't always about the way you're sending it in or why. There are limitations to what we can do in terms of radio. And it might be that it has a swear in it and therefore it doesn't get on air. So it might be simple fixes. There might be more kind of long-term discussions about making plans for your music that will have a little bit of impact. And Alicia's good at that because she's kind of always had a big vision for her music. And I think it's important to have that. So I've waffled a little bit, but that's my kind of interest. I've been reporting on music on the radio for 20 years or more. I've organised festivals, I've organised gigs, I've run magazines, I've been behind the scenes, but I'm keen to hear what you guys are up to.
So, yeah, thank you, Bethan. I mean, we've always had like quite an interesting balance so far, where we warm up in these meetings, and we interviewed Scammer, interviewed Grimsickers and Local. That was brilliant for the grassroots perspective, and we always end up going like, at what point should we start the actual interview, and what point should we start recording? So I've gone on and click record now, because no doubt with these like natural conversations that come about, there will be some great points that we can end up editing into the video as well. But like, yeah, in terms of the points that you say there, it's just amazing to hear, Bethan, with your like experience and obviously amazing work, and obviously a passion for people, upcoming artists, to be able to promote their music. So it would be good to chat about that. But I mean, I know, so I mean, one thing that really unites us all is kind of like that grassroots music. And Tim, who's just here now in the middle screen, we've been colleagues for about the last 12 years, I think, alongside Zippy, Michael Ivins. And we ran kind of like a music youth organisation called Ministry of Life, and have helped like a great deal with kind of upcoming musicians. Tia and Rafa, are part of Ministry of Life Education at the moment. And they're doing great things. They actually run like a college course at the moment, which is fantastic. And then we've kind of got like some back in the days. So Sabs and Mark. We were, one of our kind of best stories is that we were running a festival. We were going to run a festival with a lad called Jamie Feeney. And so we ended up somehow, Zip pulled it off. We got permission to run it in like the back of Cardiff Castle. When Cardiff Council heard about it, they were like, what? How did you let this lot get permission for it? But somehow it happened with like 1,000 people attend. And Mark actually saw Jamie's advert in The Sprout, which is a local youth magazine. So Mark ended up joining and coming along, dropping into one of our youth sessions and meeting Jamie. Has been a link with us for the last 12 years and more so in the last year or so, couple of years, and has done amazing strides. And Sabs is now kind of on the board for Ministry of Life. One of Sab's breakthrough moments was actually going to the whitewater rafting centre. Before then, came up to every session, wasn't it, Zip, and was kind of like quiet, just playing guitar in the background, and a girl called Emma would kind of do most of the singing. Jumped in the water at the whitewater rafting, and from that moment onwards, Sab's has been absolutely on it, isn't it? So yeah, so that's Sab's. I mean, I'll just Alicia actually kind of performed. We did an event at the Star Leisure Centre, so that was back in 2009. In June, and Tim came to that one actually, which was great. And so it was Alicia, Phil Trax, and they kind of they were part of a group called New City Order, wasn't it, Alicia?
Yeah.
Yeah, New City Order, Phil Trax, and Benji was presenting that event as well. Mason went there, and Mason actually said about he met some people from YTU 13 and Urban Circle back in Newport. Then he followed along with what they were doing, and that's how he went on to do the show with Dizzy Rascal and Must Be the Music, Sky Television's version of X Factor. So it just goes to show how all these little kind of grassroots connections can lead to significant things for artists. So I'm really buzzing that kind of we've got kind of something regarding that unites us all. But would it be worth, if I'll stop speaking now as well, probably is a really good opportunity to kind of introduce everyone. We'll consider this almost like the beginning, and obviously all things can be edited in as well, which is amazing. In terms of the format, the order, I know all our screens are in slightly different order, so perhaps then I'll just go. I'll go through the order that we're in. So Bethan's had an introduce so far. So should we start off with Mike and Tim? Just unmute yourself there, Zip.
What? There we go. I'm Zippy, and this is Tim. So we run an organisation called Ministry of Life Education, which offers musical courses, music and video courses for young people between 11 and 25. Yeah, so we've been running in conjunction with Joff, we've been running for about 10 years now. So we've had lots and lots of previous music artists that we've worked with. Some have gone on to do really good things, and basically, yeah, we really enjoy doing it. And some of our people that we've got on the course at the moment, we've got Tia and Raphael, and Mark's been on there previously, and so has Sabs. So yeah, we just really enjoying working with young people from the ground upwards, helping them to produce music on Logic, recording skills, organising events, digital marketing, social media, all that type of stuff, really. The stuff that's really difficult to get your head around and work out. You know, there's a lot to do. You know, there's one thing is making music, but the next thing is actually getting people to listen to it. So we're trying to help people with how to get your music listened to, basically. So this is the perfect place to sort of air our views, really.
It's about giving young people the opportunity to express their creative ideas, because they might have musical talents, but we've got the equipment, and we've got the mics, and we've got the Macs, and we've got the video cameras, and we've got a little bit of knowledge on how to use them, so we can facilitate helping them to express themselves, creating. And then when you think of it like that, it's not really about how good they are or how talented they are, really, because even it's just that opportunity to be able to express yourself, whether you're that good or not, frankly. Do you know what I mean? So everyone on here is not good. Everyone on here is very good, but it's about expression rather.
Amazing. Cheers, Tim. So you've brought in actually two of your students today as well, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's Tia and Rafa. So if we would just give it an opportunity, we'll go through everyone that's on here, but it's a perfect opportunity to kind of it's Zip and Tim, if you want to introduce Tia, and shortly we'll introduce Rafa as well, and make sure that he comes off of mute when we do that. Go for it. Do you want to introduce Tia and then Rafa? Tim,
yeah. So we're going to hear a little bit of music now in a sec from Tia. She is 17. She was 16 when she first started the course. I think you'll agree once listening to the music, she's got a fantastic voice.
Yes.
She wrote the song herself. I tried to help her write the lyrics, but she scrapped my ones and wrote her own ones because they were rubbish. But yeah, no. So we tried to, we put it on Spotify. We made the video. We got all the kids in the class to help make a video. It was part of their assignment. I think you'll like it. It's pretty good. It's one of the best videos we've made so far as a group. I think it helps that Tia's so good at singing, really. But yeah, she's pretty much a delight, and I really do wish her the best for the future. And I really do hope she does something with the music, because she is really, really talented.
She's really good, like a standout. In like 10 or 12 years or however long we've been doing this, it adds up to hundreds, literally hundreds of young people we've worked with. Tia stands out like by quite a way as being exceptionally talented.
Yeah, so enjoy.
That's amazing. Hi, Tia. I don't know if you wanted to lead on from those two.
They pretty said like much all of it, didn't they? Everything they said. I'm just Tia. I love doing music. Honestly, it's my passion. I've done it since I was little. I just love it, and yeah, I hope you enjoy what you listen to, I guess.
Cool, amazing. That sounds good. All right, well, I've got your link just about showing up, and I managed to silence it just in time, so it didn't come through. So I'm relieved about that. So okay, I'll have a go at screen sharing now. Everyone, let me know if it's kind of working. Yeah.
I think, guys, if everyone apart from Joff who's screen sharing, if everyone else mutes themselves, it'll work a bit better.
Right, cool.
How's that, everyone? Cool, amazing, absolutely incredible song. So anyone that does want to jump in, obviously unmute yourself just when you do that. But Tia, what an incredible song. See if that might work.
Sorry, I had myself on mute. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a sick song. I want that song.
Yeah, so there's a link. I put a link to the YouTube channel in the chat, because obviously you're playing the tune through Zoom. You don't get to hear the audio quality of it, but there's a link to the YouTube video in the chat. She's got another video on there as well, a Hotline Bling acoustic cover, which we also done a video to. And yeah, it's on Spotify and that as well, isn't it, T?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the Hotline Bling, just the Overview.
Yeah, the Overview one's on Spotify as well. So get yourself like a proper copy that you can listen to with speakers and that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely going to download it anyway. I want that in my mix.
Go on, Shan.
Nice one, Shan.
Nice, that would be brilliant, especially for the CMC Connected event coming up. So yeah, is it worth we'll kind of go through introducing everyone, but this is quite nice hearing a bit of music in between. So yeah, Raf, it would be great to kind of to meet you as well, my friend.
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm Portuguese. I grew up in Portugal and I moved to UK in order to study English and music, like production and stuff else. That music I made like 1 year ago. So is in Portuguese. Like I don't have nothing in English yet, but like I have something, but not finished. So yeah, let's see.
Can I just say, yeah, Rafa, again, absolutely lovely guy, great voice as well. And he's starting to write more stuff in English, and so that his repertoire of English lyrics is growing and growing at a good rate as well. Lovely kid to work with, pleasure to have on the course, talented, motivated, happy. Yeah, good guy.
Amazing. Okay, we've actually got a song here as well by you, Rafa, as well. After that, I want to kind of like, let's introduce the rest of the group, because of course, Laura and I are going to be co-hosting. And of course, in terms of our question and answer, we're going to have a bit of a panel with Alicia, who's come on, and of course, you, Beth. And then we've got Rico, who's done some amazing stuff, Sabs and Shania. So yeah, let's go for Raf's song now, and then get through our introductions. And then we can get into some of the meaty bits of the session as well. How does that sound? All good?
Yeah, cool. Remember to mute yourselves, guys, if you're not Joff.
Brilliant. All right, let's all mute ourselves. I've got this link pretty much ready to go. So we're going to look towards getting a thumbs up and smiles from everyone as well. So that's paused, unmuted, full screen. So let's share and go for the thumbs up. Are we looking all good?
Nunca pensaste naquilo que estavas a fazer. Dizias que me amavas, mas estavas a esconder. Que havia outro alguém para além de mim. Fizeste-me crer que nunca foi assim. Tinhas tempo para tudo, menos para mim. Ei, inventavas desculpas e mesmo assim continuei aqui a pensar em ti. Em vez de nos pôr fim. O tempo passa e ainda te quero. Nada é igual sem ti por perto. O tempo traz o que eu nunca esqueci. Compreendo agora porque te perdi. Nunca tentaste perceber o que sentia. Sempre que te via o meu coração batia. E por mais que eu tente eu nunca te esqueci. Oh, não me sais da cabeça como nos pôr fim. O tempo passa e ainda te quero. Nada é.
Cool, unmuted. Amazing. Raf, that sounds great.
Can I borrow you? Like I have like something on my laptop in English. Can I show you?
We'll definitely have a chance to do it shortly. But yeah, I mean that video looks really good.
It's like one minute. 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah. I'm sure we will be able to, definitely. We'll make sure that we go through the entire group. But that looks fantastic, and I could see what some of your other videos as well actually had like 11,000 views as well. So I'm sure we'll get a chance to do it as well. So yeah, I think that breaks it up a little bit. But yeah, others to introduce as well. Kind of, we've got Shania, who's a drum and bass DJ. Just give you a chance to unmute and then say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Well, hey, all right.
Yeah, my name's Shania. I'm a drum and bass DJ. I've been doing it now about 6 years. I've been trying to learn how to promote as well. I started to do my new event basically this year, but it got cancelled because of COVID, so didn't go down very well there. But yeah, I'm trying to basically focus more on promoting events at the moment to give other people opportunities, like just as long as me. And I want to get other people on boards that people wouldn't think of, sort of thing, or like you need like a female like sort of perspective on boards, just to remind everyone that there are obviously females out there who needs to be put on lineups and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I've been trying to focus on doing at the moment. But obviously since lockdown, I've been sort of DJing on radio things online and stuff. But that's where I was going to come in and ask Tim or Zippy, sorry, if I can have your help with some online stuff, really, because I'm just like struggling to like do online things and get the audio to sound okay. So there's a lot of like struggles going on at the moment.
It is difficult. Zip was actually looking into that today. There are ways to do it, and we are working them out. But yeah, it's difficult. I don't know if Bethan probably knows more than we do. How can you get high quality audio over a video?
Like a live stream.
As a live stream, yeah. Over to you, Beth.
The biggest challenge we've found is the music copywriting and the current legal stuff about streaming. We were doing lots of bedroom streams with artists over the immediate first lockdown, and we had to stop because of people. I think it's such muddy waters as to what is okay and isn't okay. And Facebook put out that really weird message about it's not a music website, and it just made me quite nervous being a BBC platform that we've just stopped all our music streaming, which is a shame, isn't it, really? That, you know, if online is all we can do, that suddenly the rules haven't caught up. And, you know, there should be ways of doing things. In terms of technically, I think Alicia's probably better than me at answering about the microphones and the laptops and getting it, because you've been streaming constantly throughout. So perhaps I'm going to hand the baton on technically to Alicia.
So yeah, I definitely agree with what Bethan said about the copyright. I'm still confused as to what's allowed, what's not. Someone said if you play 1 minute 30 of a song, you're okay, but I actually did get kicked off yesterday from a Facebook Live. But I definitely went over 1 minute 30 because it's so hard to stop at 1 minute 30. The song hasn't even really started on some songs. But in terms of tech wise, basically I just set up a PA kit in my bedroom and press live. So I just run from active speakers, a mixer, and then whatever device you would use to put your music in, and then press live on my phone. I know there's a better way to do it, as in
it's like an input way, basically. It's like if you buy this, it basically you stick it into your phone and then it direct audios from your mixer. So instead of having like the sound of being indoors, it'll just go straight to the computer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there definitely is a way to do that, and it's much clearer. I haven't done it, but I know. Right, I'm very bad at the technical terms. I'm going to help me this, but you know the red and white wires.
Yeah.
It goes into the mixer, and then usually there's an end that would go into your phone, and I'm not sure which end that'll be. I don't know if I'm right, guys, but
I don't get it myself.
Oh no, to Jack.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I think we should. I've been looking into the kind of copywriting and everything, because Facebook is the most friendly platform for getting good stats in terms of audiences, but the worst, they're not taking any responsibility for music on their platform. So when I think you got stopped because you were playing records, when you're singing and performing, the appearance is that you own the copyright. So when you're singing and performing, you're probably not being stopped. But when you're playing records, if it's any recognized artist on a major record label, they've got like copyright police listening in, just stopping things because they recognize a track. And it's basically because they haven't worked out who owns Facebook are saying we're not a music
Well,
platform.
wouldn't
So-
Facebook have to pay PRS if they were doing it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're not taking any responsibility for music on their site, which means that they're just stopping things instead of letting people do music. Then you've got YouTube, which are paying, but they still stop things that they think, especially DJs, that they think they don't have the rights to put things out. But there are court cases happening about these things right now, and so we've just stopped until it's all resolved. And then Twitch and Patreon and lots of other things, you won't get the big audiences, and even clips. I think, Alicia, you said 1 minute 30. We've been told reasonable use is the legal term for promoting your own music. So if you want to put something out that's owned by somebody else, maybe a cover, reasonable use, you'll be able to put a clip of 30 seconds to a minute up to promote something somewhere else. So I would say that it's probably worth trying to get your own website and get the traffic to go to your own website. I mean, it's easier said than done, isn't it? Because first of all, running a website is not easy, or designing your own website is not easy. But it means that we're not safe on Facebook, or none of them at the moment are safe for music. And I think it will get sorted, but it feels really slow. When music went from people taping things on cassettes, and the big record labels were trying to stop people taping Top of the Pops, they'd clamp down on it all, and then they catch up and put cassette compilations out. And I think we're in that stage with streaming where they're trying to clamp down. They can't control it, so they're shutting things down left, right, and centre instead of actually letting it legally happen. It's just been so sad for DJs in particular this year that they can't do live streams because they were raising money for charity. All this good stuff got stopped. And so, yeah, I think technically how to do it and legally how to do it are different things.
Yeah, for sure.
They should make you buy a license, and then it covers the PRS, and then Facebook wouldn't need to worry about it then, because they're probably going to get a really large PRS bill, is what they're worried about for the use of the music, I think.
So even our archive, we're probably going to have to take it down, and that makes me so sad because it's people's music, and promoting people's music. But I think it just needs to be resolved. It needs to be sorted out, and maybe another platform will. That's what I always find with these things. The big corporations make it really, really difficult for everyone, and then somebody resolves it by inventing something else. So, and even Spotify, it's becoming so difficult to use these platforms. They're not for music, are they? Spotify are asking artists now to take an even smaller cut to get on a playlist. So I've got huge issues with all the offerings that we've got of the big platforms, and we've got to find different ways. And maybe, Zoom, and as you said, Joff, bringing people together in private parties on Zoom actually is legal. We're not breaking any rules by playing music on here because it's not a public stream. So there are always ways to kind of reach people, but I'm finding it very difficult in terms of the music we do virtually right now. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. Some of the Zoom meetings that we've had have just been amazing. As an open mic format, there's been such an intimate feel to them, especially as everyone has on almost an equal square, so that one person is playing, but there's, say, the other 9 or 10 people listening, but you can kind of be dancing along to the song as well, and there's an amazing intimate feel to it. So it's almost like we've got these different directions that music can go in. I know Sam Taylor from Unlimited Media, he mentioned something about £180 you can pay as a licensing fee, and I think potentially you can link through Facebook, and also Orchard Events do it through Vimeo. So it might even be that we end up with different platforms that have kind of got the opportunity. But yeah, like you say, Bethan, regarding the websites, if you can do something through your own website, it's easy to advertise a link on Facebook, isn't it? So yeah, I think maybe that's some of the exciting times that we're in. If I I'll just kind of move on to introducing others. I like the way we're doing this because we've got a nice little breakup of introducing people, but coming up with some topics as well. Of course, Alicia, we've had some absolutely amazing sessions over the last few months over lockdown as well. So can we give a very, very warm welcome to Alicia, who's part of our panel today?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So my name's Alicia Scott. I'm a reggae artist from Cardiff. I am a Welsh Jamaican, a very proud one. So I was spending most of my time traveling, performing. I spent my time between Wales and Jamaica working on music. And yeah, it's kind of come to a bit of a halt at the moment due to coronavirus and all that stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out, or doing actually, things I can do safely from behind the scenes. So I've just tried to take a step back and learn more of the business side of stuff and the content side of stuff. I've still been trying to work on music behind the scenes. As an album that was ready to go, and we've had to kind of put that on hold now because we wanted to tour and obviously release the album. But that will be coming out next year. So yeah, I'm just working from home mostly at the moment, doing some sessions with Joff, which have been amazing, to work with lots of different young people. And also, yeah, just working on what I can work on from home.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, we've had some great sessions. We've worked with Swansea Young Adult Carers, which has been incredible, hasn't it? Doing some lyric writing sessions. And we had a moment a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, where one of the young people said, we all have the opportunity to write our own third chapter. Yeah. And we were like, what is third chapter? What do you mean third chapter? And she was like, what was it, Alicia? We thought first chapter is
you learn in the first one, you apply in the second one, and the third one you do. So everything you've learned and everything you know, the third chapter is the best one because you put it all into action.
Yeah, which was, we were blown away with some of the stuff. So where did that come from?
Yeah, so they took that session basically.
Yeah. Some sessions then with, what was it, YMCA Cardiff, which was brilliant with their young carers. So yeah, shout out to YMCA Cardiff as well. So we've got some others to introduce as well.
Joff, can you let Shania back in, please?
Yes, Tim. Yeah, just about to do that now. So yeah, I'll do that just as we introduce Laura. So yeah, Laura is going to be co-hosting it today, and I'll hand over to you to introduce Sabs, Rico, and Paige. Hopefully Paige is there and can hear us and jump on. While I do that, I'll let Shania in as well. But yeah, Laura, I'll hand over to you to introduce Sabs and Rico and Paige. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you, Joff. Yeah, so I've been working with Joff for like 6 months to a year or so. I've known him a little bit longer. I'm doing a journalism degree, but I love music and I want to do music journalism. So we've been kind of working together and working on a Cardiff Music Conference as well. There's a few people now to come up. We've got, I think, Sabs. Are you ready? Yeah, I'll introduce Sabs now. As Joff said earlier on, Sabs has been involved with Ministry Life for a long time now. She does like amazing spoken words, plays the guitar, does all sorts. But I'll just hand over to you to have a little chat now with Beth.
So I've been working with Joff with Ministry of Life for like 3 years. I've been volunteering for a year and then done my youth work qualification and then worked with Joff in local communities. I've been doing music, so doing poetry in youth clubs, just doing the events like open mics and events. And yeah, I'm in uni at the moment, working with doing teaching with children. So that way I could work with children and then have my youth work qualification, which allows me to work from 0 to 25 years. So I have the option, but at the moment, just doing open mics with Joff and sharing my poetry with everyone.
Amazing. Yeah, great. Cool. So if we go on with introducing with Recover and then Paige, or Paige and then Recover, perhaps what we'll do is when we introduce Recover, Rico, we'll play one of his songs. Then we'll get on with the content of the session in terms of everyone who's an upcoming artist being able to ask one of their questions to Bethan and to Alicia and to Zippy and Tim, who'll be acting as part of the panel as well in terms of obviously MOL education, grassroots music representatives. They can ask their questions, then we can go on and come up with a couple of teams in terms of developing grassroots music in Cardiff. And then hopefully at the end, we'll get a spoken word from Sabs as well, because I know that they can really hit home. So that'll be a great time. So yeah, sorry, Laura, over to you. And then, I don't know if you want to introduce Paige and then also Rico.
Yeah, cool. So we've got Paige well, she's over bottom of my screen. I don't know where she is for you guys, but she's one of our young people from our youth clubs. She's attended a couple of our open mic nights. We did a session with Alicia, and also Be Written, which she was amazing at. And any opportunity to sing, she just jumps on it and gives it a roll. Do you want to just quickly give a little introduction to yourself as well, Paige? And she's come home early from school as well to be here today as well. So thank you, Paige.
Hi, I'm Paige. I'm 14 and I've been on Britain's Got Talent, and I like to sing. I've been doing music for like about 4 years now, and yeah.
Oh, amazing, Paige. Beth, yeah, were you just going to jump in then?
I was just going to say nothing could be scarier than doing live telly. Was it live, Paige, or just?
Yeah, live.
I can't even imagine doing that. It must have been terrifying. This
Yeah,
can't be as scary as that.
No, it was really scary. It was when I was like 11.
Wow. And how did it go?
It went all right, but I didn't go back to like the last one because I was nervous, because I got through the first two, and then I didn't go back to the last one because I was meant to go back on it this year, but obviously COVID.
Yeah. What an amazing experience, though. Well done,
Yes,
you for doing it.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to do that as well. I tried to go on Britain's Got Talent and I passed out. So well done to you, honestly.
Yeah, well done, Paige. Yeah, great.
Well done, Paige. Well done.
What did you sing when you did the shows with them, Paige?
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I love that song. It's a classic.
Amazing. Who knows? We might even get like get to hear that at some point later in the session if we get time as well. I know we've heard it in the CMC Youngers event that we did, so that's amazing. But yeah, Laura, yeah, let's go on and introduce Mark, and I'll go in the background to get his song ready as well. How does that sound?
Yeah, cool. So we've got Mark Thomas. Is it Rico or Recover?
It's Rico, yeah. It used to be Recover, but yeah, it's Rico now.
Yeah. Go on.
So I'd say I started writing music probably 2014 with Joff, Zippy and Tim, and I just went on then just do more. I took a break then when obviously I had my kids, but now I've come back from the last year. I've got quite a few songs on Spotify now, and I've only just released my EP about a month ago. It's called Believe.
Yeah, it's really good too, man.
So yeah, I'm just looking to further my career with music, really.
I think for yourself as well, Rico, like you're so dedicated with your music. So it's only been a year or so you're back in, but again, you've thrown yourself into like every opportunity. You come to every meeting. You're there right till the end as well. So your passion for music really comes through like every single time I meet you.
Like literally, it's the thing that calms me down. Expressing myself, like I wouldn't be able to cope without it, to be honest. So it's just like having the ability to record at home. It's just perfect, really, for me. So
it's nice as well the way you sort of pour your heart out in every single track. I don't know what we'll hear from you today. I could listen to any of your songs all day long, but I really like the Voices one. But we heard in an open mic yesterday, and what you say about letting out your emotions and stuff, it definitely comes through in all of your songs.
Yeah, like that one. And obviously, I wrote it in lockdown, the first lockdown. But it's just everything that's been like I've been feeling towards it. And then my dad had COVID back in middle of March, so it was just like I just had to get my emotions out one way, and I thought may as well record it. And then I just thought, right, it sounds good to add to the EP, and just had to release it then.
Brilliant. I've just about got it ready now, so I'll click share screen, and yeah, give us a thumbs up if it works, everyone.
I'll mute myself 2 secs.
Describe the feeling. I hope that you can hear this. I hope that you will listen, cause there's no position in this world that I'd rather be in. Seeing both of you grow is the thing that keeps me breathing. Is the thing I can't believe in. Is the thing that's most achieving, cause there's no position in this world that I'd I'd rather be in. I remember a newborn, the look in your eyes, the feeling and the pride, the baby smell I cannot describe, cause there's no position in this world that I'd rather be in. Some days are hard, some days are not. Thinking of you both gets me through a lot. We could paint, we could draw, whatever you want. Raise it both for you with the blessing I got. I can't live without you. What would you do without me? I'll do my best to raise you. You do your best to save me. I know sometimes are hard, but I try. Never giving up. No, no. I'll do my best to raise you. You do your best to save me. I know I stress sometimes about a lot of things. Nothing else can give me the joy that you bring. We can watch TV, we can laugh, we can sing, we can joke, we can dance. You can be anything. You can be Buzz Lightyear, fly with those wings. You can be a little princess and wait for your prince. Cause you got a friend in me. I'm here when you need. Even if you need a child right by your side. Going through life, I can teach, I can guide. But there's certain things in life that you have to decide. You may want to be a doctor and make someone fine, or be a firefighter.
Cool, brilliant, absolutely awesome song. Well done, Mark. Really well produced.
Good skills, well done, mate.
Thank you.
So where did you get that recorded, Mark?
At my house. Like I tried mixing and mastering it, but it was just like I found it too complicated, and Brighty ended up doing it for me. So he done a nice on this one. It was done by myself, but I kept re-editing it because I wasn't happy with it for the EP, and then Brighty come along and help me then really with all the tracks to mix and master them.
Fantastic. And you recorded the video at a studio as well, didn't you?
Yeah, Studio 45, William Adams. I got to big him up because he just done an amazing job with that. So I can't thank him enough.
Amazing, great. Okay, well, that's kind of pretty much everything covered in terms of introductions and introductory songs. I know there was a few questions that were going to come, which Laura's going to be able to ask as well. But in terms of the burning questions that people will have got, if we go in the order then of Tia, then we'll go to Shania, then we'll go to Babs, then to Paige, and then to Mark. So I'll jot that down as an order as well. But yeah, Laura, over to you. And if we go for the first question from Tia to the panel, which will be Alicia, Bethan, and Tim and Zippy.
But yeah, sure. So do you want to ask your question, Tia?
Yeah, I was like wondering, like, how did you like start off in the industry? Like, how did you end up getting where you are like now?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah.
Go for it, Lisa.
I think it's perspective. The biggest thing I would say is consistency, and building good relationships. I always make sure, I've worked with a few guys in here, and to my knowledge, I always make sure I do the jobs to the best of my ability. And I'm never slack with it, so I don't like to be late. I like to make sure everything's done, again, to the best of my ability, and I'm consistent, as in people always know they can rely on you, and that's very important. And also, I love what I do. I literally love what I do. I feel like if you know this is what you want to do, you definitely know. You can't wake up and be not sure. Like you said, you love music. You know you love music. So I just think that keeps me going as well and makes me want to complete everything I do. And also, you can't rely on, like, sometimes I might put a video out and nobody wants to watch it, but I love it. So I've enjoyed doing it. So I don't tend to look at numbers. Sometimes that can be disheartening. I just do it because I love it, put it out there. And I think when I was 13 or 14, my friend said, hey, people are putting stuff on YouTube now. People request a song and then you put it up. So that's how I started doing it. People would send me messages, and I was consistent. I do 2 videos a week sometimes. And people would send in their requests, and then all of a sudden people started messaging me from the Philippines, like, hey, I've got this request I want you to do. And I was just like, whoa. So yeah, just continue to do it. Just basically don't stop. And I know that sounds really cliche, but just don't stop. Just keep doing it.
Thank you. That helped.
Can I jump in there? I worked with, or came across Alicia's music. Was it a couple of years ago, Alicia? You applied for Horizons.
3 years ago?
Yeah, was it 3 years ago?
3 now. Oh, wow, yeah, maybe 3.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'd not come across her before, and her music, she applied for Horizons, and we go through 300 artists and whittle it down to 12 artists that we're going to work with and take to festivals and promote. And there are certain people that I work with through Horizons. I come across an enormous amount of artists, and some people, everything is a lot of trouble for them and they can't get there, or it's too much bother, or they don't want to do it tomorrow, they could do it at the weekend, or and I've got to say about Alicia in particular, she's a yes person. You ask her if she wants to do something and nothing is too much trouble ever, and she'll always do it, and she is so reliable. And it's that thing for me, I'm working across maybe 3 or 4 festivals at the same time, and it's a huge amount of work. And if you've got people that you know you can trust and depend on, and you know they'll do the job, and you know they'll get there on time, and they know they won't be trouble when they're there, and she's just hugely reliable and a joy to work with as well. Like, that's not always the case. And then when you have an opportunity, you go, who can I get to play that event for that film festival? Oh, Alicia would be perfect, and we know that she'll do an amazing job. So the people that you get on with because you're working with them and they do their job well, it's a two-way thing, because they make my job easy and they make life easy for me. It's also, you kind of end up working with them more.
Yeah.
And I've got to make sure that I spread the opportunities out across the whole of Wales. So the people who make my life a little bit easier by making that process easier, they answer, we talked about this, they answer emails straight away. So I'm trying to book 100 things at the same time, and somebody's answered me straight away to say they'll be there, and I just know they will be. So, but I think even in my own job, I'm a yes person, and it's not always about money. And last week, somebody emailed me out of the blue and said, somebody's dropped out, will you do something today for us immediately? And it was Radio 2 wanted me to pick some music. Now that's a huge chance for me. And instead of going, oh, I can't do it today, I've got other emails to answer today, I can do it tomorrow. You know, you have to kind of jump when the things happen, but also the little things. Like, you jump anyway. You jump because somebody's asked you to do something, even if it's for a local radio station or for a blog or for a friend. And I think we're just either yes people and happy to do it because we love what we do and we love life and we try and be positive in life. And I feel the same about social media, that I'm trying constantly to kind of share stuff on social and respond to stuff that other people are doing and to build people up, and not to just think of myself, and not to just go, oh my God, nobody's liked my post today. How selfish. And I'm constantly thinking, right, how do they feel with this? You know, they put a new music video out and nobody's seen it yet. How can I share what they're doing? So I think sometimes two things, yes, people, reliability, and looking at what other people are doing and building an amazing community around you are really important.
Sorry, can I add to there? I would also say, like, say for example, now maybe I've got like a day off tomorrow. I do believe in days off, by the way. I've learned the hard way, you have to take days off. But say if I've got like a little bit of a break here and I think, oh, I might be bored there. You're not going to be bored. I'm going to think, right, what content can I make for this week? Or I've got a release coming out. Let me research better ways to push the release and things like that. It's just all in the detail as well.
Yeah.
Well said.
Great. Does that answer your question, Tia?
Yeah, that answers it.
All right, cool. We'll move on to Shania now. Did you have a burning question for the panel, Shania?
Yeah, it's just obviously at the moment, like obviously music's got at a bit of a standstill where it comes to sort of pushing each other. Like sort of like with our creativity, like motivationally, everything's sort of gone to a standstill. And obviously we can't have as many opportunities as we used to at the moment. And I don't think it's going to be the same for the foreseeable until we know obviously when it is going to go back to normal. So what I'm wondering is there any way that we can set up like support groups or like anything that we can do to get that motivation back, to get people to want to start doing music again, to give people the opportunities to do things, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that one. I mean, my colleague Rowan the other day, he came up with a nice project. See, he's into guitar music, and because his revenue streams have gone, he's just started busking. He managed to raise £170 in a day from busking, which is much better than he would have got if he went to work, which is pretty cool. So obviously it doesn't happen like that every day, but he just took it upon himself to get out there and try and put his music to people. So he's on Queen Street and he's playing along, and he phoned me the other day. He said, it's ridiculous that the government have put out these things saying that you can retrain if you're a musician or an artist. Why don't you retrain to be a cyberbot?
I know.
Well, no, I don't want to be a cyberbot. I want to be a musician because that's what I've worked hard to do all my life. So Rowan was thinking he was going to try and apply for some money from the Arts Council, and apparently they've had a bit of a, well, most people are applying for coronavirus funding, so the Arts Council have had a bit of a lull in funding requests. So if anybody wants to put in a funding bid, have a go, or if they want any assistance.
That was my second thing. It's like obviously where you're at home, you're not able to get the things that you need, so you haven't got the equipment that you could have or you could go to. Do you know what I mean? So you're unable to do the things that you could do. So is there any way, obviously, like that you can create a safe space for people, sort of thing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the difficulty is community buildings have got restrictions at the moment, so it's very difficult to get into a community building. I mean, we're only allowed to have 4 students in at any one time at the moment. Usually, we have open access and people could come in and use the equipment and whatever. I would say just try and get the kit that you've got at home to the best of your ability. And I know we've been talking earlier in the discussion about live stream issues and how copyright has come into play. But there's places like Mixcloud, SoundCloud, you can upload your mixes to these places and then just upload, and then, you can spam people, not spam them, but put links up so people can download them. So you can still get your music out there. And one thing I'd say as well, if you're going to do a mix, try and stick some of the people that tunes in there, because really it's a really good opportunity for you to promote your friends' music. And if you're promoting their music, they're going to be promoting your music. And if you
I did a mix with I got Alicia to do me a jingle. So I did a mix with a jingle basically, I've got a few now.
Things like that, just keep active, because sooner or later the world is going to return to normal, hopefully, or start getting that way. And you know what it's like, Shania. We want to get back out and have a dance, don't we? Really, that'd be nice.
I can't do this sit down stuff, Zippy. Honestly, it's taking the mick. Honestly.
No, well, you're lucky that you are a DJ, so you can actually have a mix in your house.
I know. Yeah.
I guess it's just time to practice and get hold of your social media things. Like you need to have a like page.
Everyone needs a page. That's how to start to like promote yourself through pages and stuff like that. It's not through your actual Facebook. Do you know what I mean?
And I've just taken time now to sort of try and get everything else that I've always not had time to do done. So all my paperwork's done. All of my social media is ready to be launched. I know loads of people who've got albums on the hip and they don't want to release them because they were supposed to tour. Because that's where the revenue's coming from. Same as Alicia, and Benji's another one who's got his album. Love him. He hasn't been able to put his album out.
We were supposed to reschedule our event, and obviously we put a few people on who hadn't played before to give them a couple of opportunities. And I just don't want to reschedule it at the moment because I just don't think it'll be the same. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'd rather people standing up, enjoying themselves, other than sitting down.
The event, that was one of the biggest events to come to Cardiff in a very, very long time. The fact that got cancelled was a huge
heartless crew.
Yeah. So, but don't lose faith. The time will come. Like I'm still there waiting for it to happen. So,
I know.
If I could just jump in almost to part. Go on, Alicia. Were you going to say something?
do what you can with what you have. So do you know how you're like, oh, I'd love to dance, I'd love to do a mix. You know when you feel like that, log on, do a
Yeah.
mix. Doesn't matter if there's 2 people watching or 2,000 people watching. You're doing what you feel like you want to do. And then I feel like obviously it's not the same. I'm missing live shows bad right now, but I try and do like live streams and stuff. It is a bit of a pain how like Facebook logs you off and stuff. But it'll keep you on.
I'm not good with the tax side of things. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like when I try and do it, something always goes wrong.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, but
just-
that's 'cause don't think like that. Just think if
Yeah.
it goes wrong, let me do it.
Yeah.
Get it done.
I am terrible like that, honestly.
Like, say if it went wrong like midstream or something like that, at least you're out there trying as well. And like Alicia said, even if there's 2 people or 20 people logged in, they'll see it and get your good energy from it. So
Yeah.
try and use this time to focus on yourself and bring yourself up to speed with everything, rather than trying to rush forward, because everyone's in the same position as well.
Yeah.
I want to ask Alicia, did you notice a growth in the social media stats when you were streaming? Because we did with Horizons, when we did 6 months of live streams, it went through the roof how many people were tuning in.
Yeah.
And there's something about the algorithms that boost live stuff. So
Yeah,
Shania, even if you're doing a piece where you're talking to the camera about music that you love, even if it's a minute long and it's live, and the more you get used to that, the more comfortable you'll be with it.
Yeah.
When you're starting out with music, you've got absolutely nothing to lose, and it's only your friends and family that initially will be there, and they've got your best interests at heart. And it's about that thing of confidence. I mean, the hardest thing with social media generally is the constant having to have that peak confidence. None of us have it on a daily basis. And Alicia and I have learned, get a photo shoot done while we're in this time. You know, do things where you can use those. A photo shoot's brilliant because you can drip feed the photo. This is what I've been doing over the last 6 months. I'm not going anywhere, and there's different photos up every day, and I'm literally in the house. So you know, it's that portrayal of confidence and finding connections with people. And so that's the first thing, is there are things you can do. Make a list. It can be a photo shoot. It can be internet radio stations that take drum and bass mixes, and you can send off, listen to my mix. Can I?
I've done a couple of them, to be fair, and it does always work out really well. It's just
always
like,
good to say you're doing something for, and it could, like Jaffa's been doing international internet streaming every week, and he plays Welsh music on there, and it's I feel like it's amazing that he's doing it as a DJ who's lost all his clubs. He's holding his head up high to kind of constantly be doing fresh mixes. So the research is always going to be there about new, like Alicia said, new platforms, new places to contact people. There was something else I wanted to say about following on from something Zippy said, but I've completely gone blank now. But just make a massive list of like, okay, we're not live. What else can I do? Oh, community. Just there are nice Facebook groups that have come up this year. The Mobo Wales one is pretty good for promoting Rico. I think you should put your video on there. There's a lot of, and Tia as well. There's a lot of any musical genre, and you've got new release, you can promote it on there. That's a really lively group as well, with DJs in North Wales, West Wales, and people like Captain organising Boomtown. The other thing, Shania, is looking at next year and going, right, who am I going to contact, like Captain at Boomtown, to get a festival booked for yourself in 6 months or 12 months time. You can plan for the future, even if it's really, really far off. And it's easier said than done, because I've not done anything proactively it's been like day-to-day battles constantly. And I think if people are assuming, oh, we're in lockdown, we can't do something. We've got to get over that. But even if it's small steps every day to kind of do something positive, it'll just help you in the long term.
Even if people and said, hey, what do you want from me? And then people started submitting like, hey, I want this kind of mix, or I want that kind of mix, or let's have a party on this day, or and try and find curators. So I can't remember the website. I'll find it and I'll message you. Or a lot of festivals, literally globally now, there's a festival network. It's online and it's all radio stations from all over the world. So finding like a platform like that and even messaging them like, hey, can I do a mix for this? Can I do a mix for that? Like literally
Yeah,
just
sort of being more on it than I am, I suppose, in it as well.
Some people would think I do it. Do you know, I did a live video yesterday. I've been meaning to do that for about 5 days where I'm like, oh, do I go live? Or do I not? And you just got to throw yourself in.
Yeah, every time I seem to go live, something goes wrong and it puts my confidence off. See, last time I whacked a glass of wine all over my decks. I just can't deal with it anymore. Do you know what I mean?
I just got to laugh at it. You know what? I did once and I had a glass of water next to my mixer and I am the cleverest person I've ever known. I whacked the thing, it went all in my mixer and everything started going.
Yeah, that's what mine did. I was like, turn it off now. And I'm trying to like look for the button and crawl at the same time.
That's all.
I think one of the best things about the situation we're in at the moment is that locally, like you guys, I've never met half of you. You know, we're connecting with people we've never connected before, but also you can think global. You could make a new best DJ friend in Germany. You could make a new best DJ friend in the States. You could literally like find out who's doing what you love, what music you love, and connecting. And that those little acorns of ideas are what down the road, when we can go back to normal, will flourish.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like, I'm going to go and travel to Berlin to see my new pen pal. And, you know, you'll have put the work in when it was really difficult. And I think there's loads we can do. It's just quite hard sometimes to see past the day-to-day difficulty, but I think it's exciting. There's new opportunities right now that have never happened in music.
Yeah.
And I don't think live is going to happen for a long while, 6 months or more. So it is important that we kind of make the most of it, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we went to the AIM Music Awards back in the beginning of the year, and Andy Musgrave, the manager of AJ Tracey, was part of that, and they were talking about the importance of developing, you know, clientele in other parts of the world. So like AJ Tracey's trying to, you know, develop contacts in America and then Asia as well. And of course, the way things have transformed with Spotify, and you know, everyone, you know, the independent music sector, I think, has grown. It's like 25% of the music sector at the moment, which is phenomenal growth. You do have the opportunity to kind of get audience out there and kind of like have that own link and rapport with them. Also, we had a panel talk a couple of months ago with Victus. That's like a new app trying to kind of get monetization for artists. And Mark Bamford, the CEO there, was saying that if we imagine that live has gone now, and now all we've got is the online presence, over the next 6 months or however long it is going to be, that sector can potentially grow. So the online sector could grow by 30%. And then when we go back to, say, normal, we're going to have the live scene plus the digital scene, which is going to be that much bigger and enhanced because everyone spent that time developing it. So it's like, it is seeing it as an opportunity to grow, isn't it? And an opportunity to develop.
Yeah, going back to what Bethan said about international, because people often talk about the Welsh music scene quite a lot, but I think really, if you want to make it, you know, there's only a certain amount of people in Wales themselves. If you want to make it big, you have to try and get global, really. I think Magnus Magugu is a good example of that. He's doing really, really well. I chat to him on a regular basis about what he's up to, and he's got an international focus on his music. He's not really trying to impress people in his town. He's trying to impress people worldwide, really. And I think, like you said, getting a best buddy over the other side of the world really helps because they know a whole heap of other people that you don't know. So he's managed to meet these people in LA, and they've signed his deal, and now he's on television. So he's going to be getting serious sync deal payments from those people. And people always ask, like, how do you make money from music? And I've only just found out in the last like few months how you actually make proper money from music. I've never really been able to make any money myself. I make money for doing gigs and stuff, but it's just pocket change, really. But I think the real money is in selling your music to television and radio and artists, you know, things like that. I think that, so if you can find out who the publishers are. That's a really good way to do it. And, you know, getting friends in high places around the world is a really good way of doing that. But they're not going to find out about you unless you message them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say to Tia. If you send me your song that you've done, I've got a couple of people who'd be interested in playing that on sats and stuff. I know like Aries and David. Do you know the Born on Roads people?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can get that tune played from one of them, which would be good for you. It'd be good exposure anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got one more challenge as well, Shania, as a
Yeah.
DJ. The DJs who really make a reputation for themselves are the ones who can also produce remixes or produce their own music.
Yeah, I've been learning to do it at the moment, but it is just so hard to do it on your own because there hasn't really been anyone to help me. I'm like, I can't do this on my own. I need help. You know what I mean? I need a Zippy or a Tim, to be honest. But you know,
where you
the
haven't got a
production
Zippy or a
side is
Tim.
really hard, but I think it should be there at the back of your mind that
no, it
DJing is
definitely
one
has
aspect.
been. It definitely has been. I've got so many ideas in my head that I just need to sort of produce, like, do you know what I mean? But I can't get it out there because I don't know how to make music, so I need to start learning as soon as
Don't be
possible.
scared to ask as well. Like, basically, I borrowed a home microphone so I could record from home. And I know there's a few friends who I've been able to message like, hey, I don't know how to do this. How do I do it? The worst they can say is no. So
Yeah.
ask them, and if they don't, they might know somebody who can. Like, I know these guys are probably, if you drop them, sorry guys, just to drop you in a bit, if you drop them a message and say, hey, how do I connect this? I'm very sure like somebody will be able to help you. It's just different times now, whereas before, like even I would be like, oh, I can't ask them that, and I'm like, I've got no choice now.
Yeah, it's almost like you're embarrassed, isn't it, sometimes, because people know everything sometimes, so that you don't want that.
You can't do everything by yourself, so if you know someone knows, just drop them a message.
Yeah, I know, I will.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Thanks ever so much, Shania. That's brilliant. Shall we? We've got like chance for another couple of questions, and Sabs and Rico are here. So yeah, Sabs, did you have a burning question that you wanted to ask about the industry? Yes or no? And if not, we'll then go on to Mark as well.
I was just gonna ask, like, now we're on lockdown and we're all staying at home, has anyone actually recorded at home instead of a studio, and how was the sound quality if you did?
Sorry, yeah, I know, Mark, you've been recording at home, haven't you?
Yeah, I've recorded my whole EP at home.
And how have you found that?
Obviously with the mixing and mastering, obviously that's the harder bit. But for me, like the sound come out pretty much the same as that you would in a studio. Like I bought myself a decent secondhand mic off eBay and the mixer. I had the Mac off Joff and straight away got onto it.
Yeah, it can be done. Them home setups they're attainable these days. Like going back 10 years, it was hard to get hold of equipment which would give you a quality sound at home, but nowadays you can. As far as mixing and mastering goes, mate, I've always found it, and I've had like professional musicians say to me as well, you should not try and master your own stuff because you can't look at it objectively, because you're hearing things that the average listener who's going to tune in won't hear. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's your own work. That, I mean, I mix and master my own stuff, but then I'll always hand over final decisions and that to Zip or to Cod or to someone. Do you know what I mean? Because you can go so far down like a tunnel that like what you're hearing isn't what everyone else even hears anymore. You know what I mean? And you sometimes just have to hand it over to someone you trust and say, listen, do that for me, because fresh ears, you need fresh ears on it. And
exactly,
that would be the same like during coronavirus or not, frankly. Do you know what I mean? It does help to get someone else mixing, maybe, but someone else to master your own tunes for the final thing. Yeah.
Like I done it all, and then literally I was called back from furlough and work, and I was on the bus listening to a different set of headphones, the whole EP. And I was like, I mean, God, it's not right. So then Brighty stepped up. He was like, literally, I'll help you out with it. I was like, I can't thank him enough. I really can't.
Yeah. And it's about as well. It took the last project I made was a 7-track EP. It took me 2 years to make it. And like you just have to draw a line at points. You know what I mean? And say, right, I've gone over this and over it. You've just got to draw a line, because you end up down down some crazy rabbit hole that that when you get nowhere. After a certain point, draw a line, get it out there. Do you know
like
what I mean?
Joff knows how many times I sent him different versions of the same song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you like they say, you're your own worst critic, basically, don't you? It's the same as when you're going to make a mix and you keep going over and over and over and over it to try and perfect it, when the first time it was probably the best time because it came
that's
out.
right. And also with mixing, the same thing. When you're doing a half-hour mix or whatever, or rehearsing a set, like there's always going to be little things that do your head when you listen back.
Yeah, you're going to criticise it, but no one else will notice.
If you're not blatantly clanging, then do you know what I mean? Just put it out there, like, do you know what I mean? Because you'll always find issues. There's never 100% perfect mix. Do you know what I mean?
And if there is, that means it's been recorded about 25 times. Okay.
Yeah, we'll put together on Ableton.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lacks that live feeling then as well.
Yeah, it does. It literally does.
I miss the studio, but I do enjoy the fact. So basically, I'm so slow with recording. Someone lent me a good mic, and I use GarageBand, and that's as good as it gets. And then I send it to someone to mix for me. But what I do enjoy is being able to record sat in my pajamas and dressing gown and a cup of tea. And I do enjoy that. Whereas in the studio, like I'm comfortable in the studio, but I'm comfortable sat in my room in my dressing gown. And I feel like sometimes the better sound does come out for me because I'm just literally sat by myself, comfortable.
Yeah, you're not being like pressurized either.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was hard because like I'm only in a 2-bed flat, and the kids, like trying to record in between the 2 kids about, oh my God. But I managed to do it. It's still possible.
Yeah.
I've been recording my radio shows every week this year at home in a junk room surrounded by loads of crap. And I feel the oppression of the room because it's not comfortable. Yeah. It's not like a flashy studio. And your kind of mental strength has to be so focused and strong to kind of avoid thinking about the chaos around you. I feel surrounded by chaos. I'm surrounded by kids and noise, and anybody could rush in and hit me on the head or something. It's just like that's been life this year. So I feel like I've had to dig deep to kind of find a strength in chaos. And I feel that's true for everybody this year, that we've all, our lives have been chaotic, and being at home is chaotic. And unfortunately, I haven't had furlough. I think it would have been better because I was looking after kids and working. And it's so I was joking about the room that I was recording in, but it's not easy when you don't feel comfortable. And yeah, I think there's been all sorts of challenges, haven't there? But it's funny how even the slightest little thing like that affects your mental health. Like for me, it's been quite hard working in circumstances that aren't perfect, you know. So yeah, and also missing colleagues and chatting to people and missing kind of that camaraderie of working with other people in a studio. I think that's
the interaction, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah, you know, it's fun, and it hasn't been fun, and it's just been doing the job. But then sometimes we just have to do that, don't we? Just have to do it. And so yeah, as long as we kind of get through it, I feel like something good will come from things. Definitely. But Rico, I've got to say, I'm very impressed with your setup in this Zoom meeting. You look the most professional with the microphone and the headphones. So well done.
It's just so much easier, like just to control the sound in my headphones and to have my son just be shouting and everything. So
yeah, your professionality shines through. And with the open mic night that we ran last night with CMC Connected, you've learned so much off of Minty. And even in terms of how you can frame yourself in the picture with what you have in the background as well, isn't it? It kind of like makes a difference for your live streams. And yeah, really, really good. And I guess that's something that we've all kind of learned over this period as well. And it's almost like, look at people like Magnus. I don't know what others think, but Magugu, he's quite possibly over this lockdown had some of the most successful, the most successful period that he's ever had in his career. And he's one of the people that would come with that attitude of everything as an opportunity, and no matter what's presented your way, you know, you can go to the next stage. Because Magnus has, you know, he's been spotted on that American talk shows, hasn't he? He's had his songs featured in those. He's got something with Rinse FM. It just goes to show all the opportunities available.
Yeah, people like Local and Scammer and other people like that as well are doing really well, man.
Yeah.
They've done really well over lockdown.
Local's doing really well as well, and Scammer, to be fair, he's smashing it. All of them are, to be fair.
I've got a bit of a theory actually that because we're not seeing the normal music industry, the festivals have disappeared, the showcases have disappeared, the normal playlists have almost disappeared. I feel like it's made room for new voices, that it's made room
yeah,
for people who are working outside the normal periphery, you know. I mean, for starters, the established bands aren't doing anything. They've gone completely quiet. Anybody who's on a record label have probably been told from the beginning, don't do anything online, don't do these streams, don't. And I feel like they're just sitting it out, waiting for this time to be over. And that's made room, it's made breathing space for new artists. So I do think it's been, and that's just happened naturally, isn't it? And there will always be people who break through in difficult times. So
yeah,
fair play
like
to.
for me, like the biggest hurdle is promotion. So like I released my EP on all streaming platforms, but it's getting people to listen to them. I'll put a link by there now in case anyone wants to check it out. But like that's the issue for me.
One of the things
through Facebook or social medias, just word of mouth as well, emails, mainly Instagram, I'd say, with I've connected with an American artist. So
yeah,
we got a song.
What I find is with Instagram, it's always good to try and get people to repost your story or your music video, for example, just to get more listeners going on that. Or if you directly message people, I know it's like a bit annoying for some people, but you've got to pass to people sometimes to get listeners. It's just like directly message people on Facebook and to ask them to share your thing, but guaranteed they'll click on it anyway. Do you know what I mean? So you'll just get the listeners keep going up. Like that's what I've got to do. I just pass to people 24/7, to be honest.
I've got to say as well, a lot of artists in Wales put something out without any planning, and they'll just put it out straight away and go, it's out now. And there has to be a little bit of build up. And even if that build up is, like I said, a photo shoot, and every day there's a different picture building up to your release, even if it's a week before, that's more than even established artists in Wales are doing. I'll get a message on WhatsApp on the day Ruel Elijah releases something going, it's out now. And I'm like, what are you doing? You've been doing music for years and isn't building up to something, isn't kind of teasing it, isn't putting clips out, 30 seconds of a video saying it's coming soon. I feel like it needs to have, even if it's a week, 2 weeks of just a couple of things beforehand, it helps push it on the day.
Like for me, I had like a month promotion, so I done the U visuals, so that come out, and then about 2 to 3 weeks later, I had the voices visual, and then obviously the last 2 tracks on the EP released with the EP then. But like personally, I just don't think it's got as far as I would have liked it to get.
Yeah. And then you like Shania said, you need to get a couple of people to help push it. And you ask people who've got a bit of a profile to go, mate, can you help share this? And even Joff with Ministry of Life and Zippy and people that you know here. Did everyone get behind it on one day? Like it sounds like you pushed 2 or 3 different tracks, and sometimes messages can be a bit confusing. And instead of just building up to one, so clips of the same track and build up to it and then get everyone to push it on that day. And then maybe even pushing it before it's out on Spotify and stuff like that. So, but one thing I haven't even mentioned is introducing. And if you sent it to introducing, then I apologize. I've been going through. Have you sent it in?
Yeah.
Because I've been.
The other tracks I couldn't because of the swearing in.
I've been
the U track I did.
I've been sent so much music over the summer and over the last 6 months that I'm never ever going to be able to catch up. It's like 35,000 tracks or something like that, and and my producers and stuff put the radio show together. They don't do the listening.
Yeah.
So even just this last week, I've had 300 tracks. So sometimes I don't get to the bottom of the pile, which is really, really sad. And it's not anybody's fault, but that's where even a message or a press release, or, you know, sometimes things need to have backup.
Yeah.
And if I don't know to look out for something, it's quite hard to kind of always be on top of everything. But go in the Mobile Wales group now, today.
Yeah, I just joined in now, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
What was the group called, sorry?
Mobile Wales on Facebook. And it's just it's a small group. It's like 100 people in there, but a lot of them are DJs. A lot of them run record labels. Captain's in there who runs festival. Focus Wales are in there. Liz from the Moon. So you're reaching like quite a few people who can actually help promote it.
It's targeted, isn't it? You're targeting people.
Yeah, and even if it's a small group of people who will be positive about your music, other artists who can share it.
Yeah.
I just joined it.
And if we were to look at the almost like I saw Zippy glance at Tim when Mark, when you played your track, and that glance was a convincing justification of wow, this guy.
You know what I was saying? I was like, this is bloody good, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, we have both heard it before and seen it before. Like,
yeah. But like it's almost like a case of being patient as well. Like you've done well, keep plugging at it. And if I find, because you know, it's like your progress can sometimes be silent. You do all of that work and you're like, why is nothing getting anywhere? And then all of a sudden you'll get these connections that just come, and they don't. I mean, look, for example, now you're currently on a show with Beth and Elvin, and that's probably off the back of yesterday. So it's like all of those things where you're working, and then you'll look back, and if you were to write like a grateful list of all the things that you've achieved in 2020, I think you'd be quite impressed with what you've done, you know?
Yeah.
But,
just looking on the last 2 weeks, I'd probably think, wow.
Definitely. Yeah.
I also think the roots in urban music are a lot harder than the band route, and pop singer songwriter route seems a bit easier because they're more established.
Yeah.
I think cutting through for Welsh artists in urban music is really, really, really hard. Like just this year, I've had to kick off a bit about getting people played by One Extra. They're not looking outside of London. So I think, you know, understand that it's hard, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't kick off, and we shouldn't like pester and email people, and not just one person. You know, find as many people as you can who might like it and just send it to them. And Shania was right, DM people, just get it out there, as many people as possible.
People, literally, that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
No, it's a good topic as well, actually, because I think it leads us off. We're coming towards the end of the session, but we almost had like we've got one question that we can put to the group in terms of the South Wales music scene, and some of these topics, such as like the Mobo Wales group and things like that, lead on from it really well. Hopefully, we'll get kind of at the end. We'll wrap up with Sabs's spoken word, which will finish the session on a really nice note. But yeah, one of the questions was, what do you think about the South Wales Mobo scene, and where do you think it needs to go from here? So if we let's put that out to everyone on the panel, and while we do that, we almost have a chance for Sabs to get ready with her spoken word, and that will be up as a wrap. So yeah, well, let's just have like a massive thank you to Bethan and Alicia, and MOL Education, Tim and Zippy for being involved. So it's really, really appreciated, and I think we've kind of learned a great deal during this session as well. But yeah, let's close up with that final question then. What do you think about the South Wales music scene, and where do you think it needs to go from here, if anyone would like to take that?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, like in my like youth work and teaching career over the last 10 to 12 years, like literally worked with hundreds of rappers. There's been a handful that have stood out as being very good. Like, I mean, about 3 or 4 that I can think of that I would say, yeah, these guys are literally really good. Like, I listen to One Extra a lot. I'm a hip hop fan. I'm a rap fan. I listen to what's out. And yeah, it is tougher for them. And I do feel that if those 3 or 4 that I was thinking about were based in London,
But I think it's changed a lot in the last year or two, really, with the emergence of people actually getting into the charts. Like, look at, Alicia, Local, Magnus, Scammer, even Luke RV as well. He's, done a tune with Grim Sickers. Like, I just feel like there is a positive movement happening and there's a big change happening. People are starting to notice.
Yeah.
And it's becoming easier to get your music out there digitally, and it's easier for people to cross collaborate. So there's people that, in fact, what's that guy's name who's a young kid who makes beats? And
the kid out of Whitchurch, Chris Rich. Have you heard of him, Alicia?
No, I haven't.
Chris Rich.
Maybe I've heard his music and not realised it's him. I haven't spoken to him.
Apparently he's
he's a kid, he's like 18 at Whitchurch. He's making beats that US artists are getting on. He's getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views,
millions of views,
and his beats are really, really good. And he's a kid.
He did the last Mace record, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's established.
So there are literally international producers in Wales. So if someone manages to get on one of his beats, then that's going to do him really well for the future because he's making moves. So I think the future's bright, if I'm honest. We just need to get past this lockdown, and then we can get out there and start showing the talent that we've got in this city, especially with the links we've got now with Bethan. And we have avenues to get onto radio. We do have them. BBC Horizons is a project that will push people. So if you want to get your music out there, get in contact. I'd say.
I would say the scene's very healthy right now. There's lots of people putting content out, and I see, like how Bethan said about planning, I see a lot more of that going on now, which is good. I think for me as a traveling Welsh musician, I'd go places often and people are like, oh, there's a reggae singer from Wales. Well, there's black people in Wales, literally, if I had a pound for every time someone said that. Whereas now I think it's a bit more like a few more doors open for us, and people don't tend to be like, oh, there's no point looking in Wales. People are like, let's look in Wales because there's a lot of stuff going on there now. And I love to see that slowly but surely, but it's happening more, I feel. And also in a local perspective, I feel like that's also now the urban, I hate the word urban, but the urban scene, we're getting a bit more recognition now. I feel like for a long time, the scene in Wales wasn't really catered for us. But I do feel a lot of that's starting to change now. So I feel like we can only go forward from here. So yeah, I like to see the growth that's happening.
DJ Target did a thing on 1Extra about a month ago. I think he does it once a week where he goes to a different part of the UK, and he done an hour
didn't
with Cardiff music. Yeah, an hour's worth on 1Extra, which was good.
Wicked.
Yeah, I did a mix for Magnus as well for Rinse. The first half hour is all Magnus's music, and then the second half hour is all a lot of Cardiff producers in there. So there's people like Dubster, Corey Austin, Fabian Dubs is another guy who's doing really well.
Yeah.
So have a look out for that one.
I just think this year has been phenomenal. The range of music that is from Mobo Music. And like you say, it's difficult because the terms aren't ready for all these changes. So just over the weekend, I played a Wales mix, which is part of my show, that had Faith, Ruel, Afro Cluster featuring Magugu and Asha Jane, and a producer called Loki with Blank Face, and the Freedom 5 track. That's amazing. That's just this week.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
And also amazing quality of all those tracks. None of them the same genre. Oh, and Sunny Double One was in there. It was an amazing Wales mix last weekend.
Okay.
That to me feels like just a snapshot of what's been happening this year. Mace getting a 1 Extra playlist, Juice Menace. There's been incredible talent breaking through. We should be so proud of the scene.
Yes.
There is a scene. I think we are, you know, I never like to say that, you know, we're a small country and there's a small scene of this, or I think we have an incredibly talented pool of artists and we should big them up in any way possible and raise the roof in terms of shouting about the talent that we've got in Wales, north, south, wherever it's coming from, black, white, whatever genre. And it's difficult because there's heavy metal bands touring the world that we should be just equally as proud of. But this year in particular, black music from Wales has been on the map and it's been amazing. And it's thrilling, to be honest, to watch it happen. It's really, really exciting.
Definitely. Yeah, no doubt. There is an air of excitement. And it's fair to say, you know, with all the kind of like the different kind of artists that are out there in South Wales, perhaps one of the things that can uniquely put the South Wales music scene on the map is the level of cooperation that goes on. So perhaps in other areas, and I know Kano was talking about it in one of his interviews, is that, you know, is very, very divided. And even though there can be a lot of complaints within the messaging and things like that, on the whole, a lot of the South Wales music scene, there is a lot of support and a lot of dialogue that goes on social media between people. So perhaps that's an opportunity to really put it on the map in terms of the amount of artists that will support each other. And if that's something that we can become recognised for, then yeah, that's a good thing to put us on the map. But yeah, I mean, that's brilliant. I don't know if anyone else has got any other points to interject before we go on to Sabs and her spoken word to finish up the show. But yeah,
I just want to say thanks for the invitation, Joff, and thanks everyone for the conversation. It's, you know, it is exciting to kind of collaborate with new people and meet new people, and we have got to stay positive, otherwise this isn't going to work. And music is about people and nothing else. It's about networks of people. So let's build each other up. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much, Bethan. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay. So pretty much then to Tim from MOL Education, Bethan, BBC Horizons, and Alicia Scott, our amazing performer representing reggae music in South Wales. For our upcoming artists, we've got Rico, Sabs, and Shani Shan, who's going to be DJing part of our CMC Connected event. Thanks ever so much from us at CMC, which is myself and Laura being co-presenting. We've had a great time and we look forward to more coming up. So let's take this chance to kind of just have a reflection of some nice music with Sabs, and we'll call that a show. So thanks ever so much, and Sabs, over to you.
So this is a song I written a couple of years ago. It's called Nowadays. True words is what we're speaking. Is anybody relating? Pain is what we're going through and nobody is listening. We smoke away our lives, having our eyes red from the devil inside. Can God forgive us for the sins that we are creating? Having our dreams crushed by some guy. I lost my way, need to go back to the old ways, where life is just fun and games. Where I could draw a portrait of my simple life, throw stones in the river and play on railway lines. One day we'll look up at the sky and imagine an adulthood life. Me and my friends will get there in time and think about the ones we lost on the way. This life process isn't an easy ride, so I hold out my hand and give you my time. But if you're not strong enough, then I'll give you my time. We hear our old folks tell us life is difficult as you get older, but is that true? Let me put you in my shoe. Little young me has a little voice, but no one seems to care to notice. Guess all kids are a bunch of liars who ride the streets with the stolen pedal bikes. We tell our children not to accept sweets from strangers, but we go to a bar for a drink that a good-looking guy offered. Guess life doesn't seem to make sense. Drugs and alcohol is what we take to decrease the memories that's in our heads. We don't need substance misuse to increase our happiness. Regardless of your background, culture and preference, I'm here to protect those who are going through a struggle. I don't know how I'll do it, but I'll make sure that I try to ease it. Life is difficult, we all heard the quote. We need a person to help us, not some depression pill. Thank you.
Cool, brilliant. Okay, can that comes through? Yeah. So yeah, amazing. Let's call that the end of the interview. Am I coming through?
I got a little tear in my eye there, Sabs.
Go on, Sabs.
That was amazing. Well done, Sabs.
Well done.
Both guys.
Delivery was literally perfect. Well done.
A nice way to finish the interview as well. So that will kind of like fade out just as we get to the end of that, and we have the applause, and then we'll end it. So we can chat now as if we're not in an interview. But thank you, Bethan.
Thank you.
Well done, everybody. I thought that was brilliant. Well done, Joff.
Yeah,
Well
I feel
done,
like we
everybody.
could go in.
Yeah, nice panel and lovely to hear new music. Oh, well done, Sabrina, Enrico, and Shania. Lovely to chat to you all. I think you've done the first step is chatting and learning and being open, and you're there. So it's a journey, and it takes years. And just keep doing what you're doing. Amazing. Nice to meet you all.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to shoot off to get my daughter
So
from
am I.
school.
I haven't had lunch yet.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Cool.
I'll speak to you soon.
And see you
Bye.
next time. Bye bye.
Nice one.